Awesome. Thank you. All right. So good afternoon, everyone. And I hope you've all been having an amazing time at the 2023 Artificial Intelligence Bootcamp by Data Scientist Network. It's been a very privilege for me to know and to be here. I'm unavoidably, absent to be there physically. And yes, I'm still happy. And thanks to technology, because I'm able to still join and be part of this experience for this year. In a couple of minutes, I'm going to take you through a journey together, end-to-end data science journey in Microsoft Fabric. I believe at one point or the other, you have interest or you have explored data science and building some basic machine learning, model. But there's something that is a bit different about my session today. I'm going to be introducing to a new form of technology because things are changing. And I would like to start with this. Every century, there is a redefinition of job due to technological advancement. What do I mean by this? 100 years ago, 200 years ago, the nature of the job we do today, is not the same. A banking officer 100 years ago is still doing banking services, but the exact nature of the job has changed. The same thing over accountant, software, technology, solutions that they weren't using before, they are using it today. And same thing to every roles that we are aware of today, including data science, including data analytics, including AI, and everything you do around this, evolving technology is changing. And we are right in the midst of another century, which is defining and redefining the nature of our job. And this is why it is important that you pay attention to this session. And I hope you're going to gain a lot. I have an assignment for you, disclaimer, because I believe in doer. So at the end, you're going to get something to also work on. So once again, you're welcome. The agenda today is very straightforward. First, introducing Microsoft Fabric. What exactly is this? And the second point here is let's build our first machine learning model in Microsoft Fabric. You might have built one before in your Jupyter notebook, or you've done one on Google Colab, or you've used any of your preferred IDE or environment, to build your own machine learning model. But today, let's look at everything in the context of this evolving technology around us, especially the newly introduced Microsoft Fabric. So I'll take some few seconds to talk to you all about what is Microsoft Fabric, and we then go on for a demo because I really want to show you not just a talk, but let's go on that platform and build and write a Python script, and check our experiment, our model, and see how everything evolved. So feel free in the comment section. I want you to type yes if you have. I'm not saying if you know Microsoft Fabric. If you have used Microsoft Fabric before, type yes in the chat, and if you've not, type no. So let's get to that quickly. So that would be helpful, and understanding my audience will help me to not have to tailor and get you abreast with this exciting technology. Amazing. I can see quite a lot of you guys have not used it. Good. That's not bad. It's good because now I know how best to tailor this whole session so that you can benefit maximally. Okay, so let's go on. Of course, they've talked about me, and I work today as a senior cloud advocate at Microsoft. And let's move on. Introducing Microsoft Fabric. That's the first part of this session today. Trust me, we're actually in the midst, and no longer the era. We're actually in the midst of the era of AI. What does this mean? Every technological advancement we are seeing today, they are powered and backed by one form of AI solutions or the other. All the solutions we have all around us, the way we search the web again has changed. The way we browse the internet has changed. The way we work on all the IDE, you want to use Visual Studio Code, you want to use PyCharm, you want to use all those different IDE or development environment, there is a form of AI or the other infused into it. How about our life? The Snapchat, the WhatsApp, all these things we use all around us, they are already leveraging one form of AI or the other. If you are thinking of WhatsApp, yes, the avatar on WhatsApp is actually still driven to create that immersive virtual world that will enable you to still interact without you physically being there, still having that expression of the virtual world. So it's still powered by one form of, AI structure at the back end. What I mean is, we're in the era of AI. And data, we've all been saying this. Data is the new oil. Data is the soil. Data is this. Data is that. Data is the one powering this. And organizations need to move away, or they're already moving away from the buzzword. All this, we use AI, we use this. They truly want to see the value of AI. So as a data scientist who is, into building machine learning and all those stuffs, you will agree with me that data is important, and this data or the AI or machine learning model you are building is as important as your data. I've had a couple of experience building this machine learning model in the past, and I know how the level of difficulty I faced and my team faced just because we could not get the data that could solve that problem. We have a bright idea. We want to create this machine learning solution that will really solve a lot. But the data available is not in the form and structure, and either is defective because it's incomplete, or it's dirty. And there are different form of dirty data. There's some data that's so dirty that it becomes not so usable for the purpose that you want to use it. So for us, and to let you know that this era we are in, the AI solutions, the machine learning solutions, and everything you are building is as good as the data. You can, otherwise you're only building castle on hair. You're only creating this fantastic model, this algorithm, you are fine-tuning it, doing all this hyperparameter tuning, but yet, since the data is not good, it's garbage in, garbage out. You cannot perform too much magic. If you are giving, ChatGPT or whatsoever, platform you use to enhance your productivity today, it's still as good as the primary information you are providing. So one thing I want you to take from this slide is, when the era of AI and data is critical, and the nature and the way these data appear matters. So it is undebatable. This world we are in is awash with data, meaning data everywhere. Organizations also want to translate this data to their competitive advantage. And that's what is making a lot of difference for people today. If your company or the company you tend working for truly want to drive a competitive advantage, they need to translate their data into that asset. That data should be able to give them that edge. They should be able to have that kind of information about their customer based on data they have that can help them better serve the customer, be innovative with their product, innovative with pricing, and grow experience sustainable growth in the business. Why am I saying all this? Either you're working today, or you are skilling up yourself to be fit for the workplace. You should be aware of this thing. Data is important, yes, but organizations are facing a pain point. These data are dirty, they are incomplete, and they are not in the form that can deliver that competitive advantage. They will spend money on projects. They spend money on hundreds of millions, millions of funds on project, but the project will not meet that business need because little attention has been placed to the data. Okay, I believe you're with me. And just look at this screen. I know you can't see all, but what I can see at the left-hand side is infrastructure, different services under the category of infrastructure. Today, if you want to do any data AI projects, you want to set up your infrastructure, your architecture, you'll be using services across all of these, several combinations. You are doing one for infrastructure in terms of storage, in terms of data lake, in terms of streaming memory, in terms of analytics, in terms of machine learning and artificial intelligence itself, application enterprise, applications horizontal. You see, so when you are in a business, your solution today has so many other interfaces, so many services, so many applications from different places. And that is problematic, because at the end, these applications and services, they have limitations and constraints in talking to each other at some critical, moment or innovative curve. It is when you want to achieve some kind of innovation in terms of the way you tend to customer or you manage your data, you then realize that, this infrastructure and this, we cannot do it because the way this one was set up and this one was set up did not allow us to achieve that. And that can stifle innovation. So this is a real pain point. I have embarked on data architecture before, that I have to use a couple of services like this just to run a data architecture project. So it is a pain point that this same data that we say we have and we value and that we deliver this value to the organization, the services that are generating or managing this data, they are in different places, and that creates some level of challenges for you to innovate quickly. So even if the project you are working on is going to be successful, it will take a lot of time. All right. So some chief data officer were asked questions, and this is their pinpoint. I am a chief data officer and I don't want to be the chief integration officer, because chief data officer is entitled to govern data and also derive value, business value from this data to innovate. So you have to govern and manage data governance as well as be innovative with this data. But they end up doing data architecture project, data integration, because for you to innovate, you cannot innovate when data is not in the right form and stored the proper way. And you cannot govern it when it is not in a place where the infrastructures can allow you to govern that data. So they now do a lot of projects, a lot of heavy effort, months, some even years invested into integration. Integration means bringing your data from all the different sources into a single platform that you can now, it's now easier to innovate with it and also to do what? To govern the data. So this is the challenge that many chief data officers are facing. Let me just govern this data and innovate with it. This integration, I'm not a chief integration officer. So it's a real pain point. Why? Because remember, all these services, money, human resources, years or even months to get those things done. And a lot of people who are working today in data role can attest to this, how challenging it is. So this is why Microsoft Fabric is the game changer. And that is what I'm doing. I'm just introducing you to that platform. So for you, be aware, understand why we are doing this, understand why we're talking about Microsoft Fabric. Why is Fabric different? Microsoft Fabric is different because it consolidates these activities. It brings together all its sassified, using that word, meaning it turns that integration effort that could take you months, that could take organizations years, it turns it to software as a service, meaning you don't have to be doing that much of work. With plug and play, we'll manage the infrastructure at the back end that will help you do all these things in a couple of minutes or hours. So all the things you ought to have spent months and years on, you have, scraped them out. You've resolved it in hours or days, or weeks. And you can then take more time and focus on the real thing, which is getting value from that data, governing that data. And it now presents you with much more opportunity. And one of the opportunities, one, your team cannot work together in one place. In the past, they all work separately. Many of you that are data scientists today and you're working, how many times did you engage with your data engineers? Maybe when you need a request, or does the organization even have a data engineer? How many times did you engage with the data analytics guys? Maybe not so much. They do their dashboard, they do all those things separately. You focus on building your model because you don't have a common environment to work. And Microsoft Fabric has solved this problem by consolidating all these activities from different teams, saying all of you come together on the same platform. You are into data engineering, yes, you use the same platform. You are into data science, yes, use the same platform. You are into analytics, yes, use the same platform. And the moment they're on the same platform, it's easier for them to collaborate. So that's one of the pain points. And when you can collaborate, you become more productive. And the output, remember, the real win is the value you are bringing back to the business. It is not how long it takes you to integrate the data. You get no reward for saying, I work on this project for 13 months. No. What is the end result? And the end result cannot be achieved if you do not have the data in the right source. So Fabric is consolidating this and making it easier. And it also makes it possible for you and I to cut across that horizontal. I'll call it verticals rather. So you're a data scientist, because we're on the same platform, the tools are easy to use. You can actually ingest data that you need for your project. So you see, you're already doing some work around engineering, even though you are not a data engineer, and it is easier for you to pivot to one. As a data engineer, you can also go towards the data science side, because now on the same platform, you have modeled the data, you have done those things. It's not just to build, you can easily build. You can learn that part. It's not just to visualize, you can learn. These were things that are not possible in the past. And another problem Fabric is solving is one copy. The major challenge for organization today is duplicate data. That's why you don't know your unique customer. That's why you are, because you have data replicated in different places, in silos. But on Fabric, they all come together to one lake. That's the new data architecture. It's a lake house. One lake is where all your data are being dumped, and you can see all these experiences on it, meaning you can now use that data to do everything, your data ingestions, your data and engineering, the data science work, the data warehousing on one copy of your data. You don't need to have any duplicate again. And that solves huge innovative challenge in the organization that you are in. So quickly, because I have just a few minutes to talk about this and move to the demo part to show us this. And right here is the experiences. The same Microsoft Power BI service you know before is changing. I'm going to show you how it is. So right there on that platform, you will see these experiences, Power BI, Data Factory, Data Activator, you see now starting data engineering, data science, data warehouse, real-time analysis, all this on a single platform. And that is the advantage. So let's see this illustration that I just mentioned. Synapse, Data Factory for integration, analytics all come together on this platform, and you then have them in this. They're all sitting on one lake. So you then have what we call product experience. You have unified compute and storage, governance and security, and your business model, because everything is now in one place. It's easier to govern, to secure, to run business model on top of this and innovate, to even the compute and storage, to manage the infrastructure, as well as product experience. So you agree with me that indeed what it used to be a data scientist is being redefined, because it doesn't end in that Jupyter notebook or that ID you've been using. Right on this platform is where business can derive value quickly. And that's why you should get to know Fabric. It is not hard. You can see you're enjoying this, right? Okay. So one lake right here is, I just want to touch that one lake architecture where everything sits on. One lake is the OneDrive for data. If you know OneDrive, Google Drive, just where Google Drive is, you can put different form of different type of information there, your documents, your voice or video. One lake is that same OneDrive, but for data. So it provides data lake as a service. In the past, any data engineer here, to just create a data lake, you have to do a lot of things, spin up compute machine, do VMs, do all those things, and have someone that will manage that infrastructure. But here you don't even need anything, because it's now a data lake as a service. You just need to point and click and do your work, and you are done. You are done, you are done. All right, let's move quickly. Another thing is the one copy of data that I talked about. So in case your data are in different storage, like AWS, like GCP, or in any other platform on your on-premise, and you do not want to move it to one lake, you can actually create a copy in one lake. So when you create shortcut will create a copy, a replica of that data, wherever it is, without moving the data. So it's not like it's moving it. So it's now creating a duplicate. No. So you can access it very fast at very high speed, but it's actually not copying it. So while you are there, is like a virtual data. It's the same data you are actually reading and working with, but it's also feeding from the source. If any changes on that data, it's also synced with that source. So it's direct. It's not like you are bringing the data. That way, you are not duplicating anything. This is game-changing in the world of innovation with data. So it's good that you are familiar with this. And I know a lot of questions are coming to mind. How does it look like? How can I do this? Don't worry, I will show you. It's similar to what you do today. There are a lot of things that are familiar already. This session is not going to be enough. That's why I have an assignment for you to dive deep, share things that you also consider. Let's watch this quick, about 2-minute video, Fabric, that summarizes everything that I've been saying. It's taking me about almost 24 minutes now, but in 2 minutes, let us check this out.
Introducing Microsoft Fabric, a unified data analytics platform. One product, one experience, one architecture, one business model. Unified data is stored in one lake, a SaaS data lake for the entire organization. Data is integrated and stored in an open format, allowing one copy to be used to train machine learning models, visualize data, and run SQL queries on the lake and data warehouse. A unified experience brings together all the tools data professionals need: pipelines for orchestrating data movement, experiments for training machine learning models, semantic models for defining key metrics, and much more. And for business users, Fabric brings together data for collaborating and doing ad hoc analysis in Microsoft 365. Unified governance, security, and compliance is built in for all your data. And with Copilot from Microsoft Fabric, AI helps everyone be more productive. Whether it's writing SQL statements, building reports, or setting up automations based on triggers. All your data, all your teams, all in one place. This is Microsoft Fabric.
Amazing. To summarize this, all your data in one place, all your teams, collaboration now, because all those innovation with data, you can now do them on a single platform, all in one place. That is Microsoft Fabric.
Introducing.
Okay, so it's time to run a Fabric demo. And how do you access Fabric, Microsoft Fabric? Is either you go to fabric.microsoft.com, or you type app.fabric.microsoft.com, or you go to app.powerbi.com. That same Power BI service is that simple that you access Fabric. But to activate Microsoft Fabric, you need admin permission. So if you are within your organization today, you might not be able to have the Fabric trial or enabled if your admin has not enabled it. And another way to go about it to learn this is actually to have Microsoft 365 developer account. So I have this blog that documented the step-by-step guide how to enable Microsoft Fabric so that you can work with this. Take, for example, in an organization that currently have their own, they're trying to make this kind of decision. So you can't just ask them to do it. You might set up a Microsoft 365 developer account and try it out and do those things for yourself. It's now easier. Since you are knowledgeable about it, you can drive that adoption. Or today, you are still job hunting, set up Microsoft 365 developer account, enable Fabric, and learn to, so that during your interview, you can talk through just the way I'm talking now. You know their pain point, you know the challenges they're having, and more than that, you can also use this new platform that's actually solving this problem to address their challenges. That is value. Now you are transitioning beyond just someone who understands how to code to someone who knows how to use that skill to solve business problem in the context of their challenges. So good. I haven't mentioned this. It's time for demo. If you're excited to see a demo of Microsoft Fabric, drop an emoji in the chat. Let me, I'm just going to take a few seconds, wait for that. And then I'm going to move on to the demo part now. Yeah, if you're enjoying this, please drop an emoji. Yeah, your favorite emoji. Awesome, awesome. I see a lot of guys, you're enjoying this. Awesome. So I have less than 30 minutes thereabout to take you through this hands-on session. And just to, more importantly, I trust you have the skill, but how do you use it in this environment? Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing and share the next window that I have. Okay. Share screen again. This to be run. Awesome. So right here, I am in Power BI. So let's start from there. In case you do data analysis or one form or the other, or if you are not aware of this environment, this is Microsoft Power BI service. Just the Power BI desktop application you use today. When you publish your app or your report to the cloud so that you can collaborate and people can share, can view wherever they are, irrespective of the device, Power BI service does that and much more because it has additional capabilities there. So that's the paid version of Power BI. And this is the home page. Look like almost any other Microsoft apps and services. The UI UX is really friendly. And you need to activate Fabric. I have activated Fabric, and that's why at the top here you can see Fabric trial 59 days. As a matter of fact, I think Fabric still run free all through, till October. I think maybe all through October, November, or December, thereabout. Still a lot that you can learn and grasp with this. And even after that, I think there still used to be a 60 days trial. But now, even when the 60 days is passed, it still continues to run for you. So you have amazing opportunity to learn this for free. And if you follow that guide after this session and you set up and activate your own Fabric trial, you will see things like this environment. This is still the same as Power BI service, but when you click at the button at the bottom left, that is when you start seeing these experiences. Oh, the same Power BI service, now I can see much more than just Power BI. I can see data factory, I can see data engineering, data science, data warehouse, real-time analytics. That's huge. And we talked about one lake, right? This is the one lake. You can see one lake up at the left-hand side there. That is the data lake as a service. That is now the infrastructure which is there, like a technology that says, oh, I have set up everything for you. You can now build your data lake, not by building, but by dropping your data there, because everything you need, I've created it already. That's the essence of software as a service. You don't need to bother yourself about that thing. All you have to do is using it, because it has taken care of all the things and the work you need to do. Okay. All right. So right here, if I click on this one lake, of course, as many assets that I have, all the workspaces I've created, data that I've ingested, everything is here. Remember, it's like the OneDrive of your data. And all these other artifacts are like the file, the work, the folder you've created, and all those things. That's how it is. But this is for organization data. Okay. Just to go straight and make it easier, I would go and I would navigate to a workspace. Workspace is like an environment where you want to, carry on your project. And after you are done, you might even choose to delete the workspace, because you're done and you are cleaning things up. But the project you've done is already there as a model and it can be used by the organization. So you can also create workspace for different projects so that you can have asset that manages each of your project and say, oh, this is this project. The moment we are done with it or we no longer need it, we can delete it without tampering with any other project that we've done. So that's how it works. I can go ahead and create a workspace now, but it could take a few minutes to set up mine. Okay, let's just do that. For example, I could say I can call this DSN AI Bootcamp. And you give a name to your workspace and you come to this advanced, and right here you see this is fabric triad that has been assigned to it. And you can determine what kind of data set are you storing in this workspace. Is it a large data set? That is it. It's scaled automatically, to accommodate your data. So it's not just the normal CSV and Excel data. It can store huge, big data. It has that capability. So it can accommodate and tend to your data needs as your organization grows. So I'm going to click on apply right here. And that way it's going to create, because I've assigned Fabric Triad to it, so it's going to create a new workspace, which is an environment for me that has Fabric license. And what that then means is I can do all the things I've talked about around Microsoft Fabric. Do you see this? So you are good with data science and building machine learning model, this could be the complementary knowledge that you need that can now make you more competitive when seeking for a job. Because it's not just I can code this. The platform that can actually deliver that win for the organization is a thing. I had scenario where people were employed, they have the skill, but when they got to the organization, the data, the platform, the structure, they are not there to make those projects that their skill can accomplish possible. So until you solve that first, you cannot do any other thing. So in this scenario, now that you know Microsoft Fabric, and many of those organizations actually have, Microsoft license, and they have Power BI in it. A simple demo of in a development environment, to do the things you want to do, 60 days trial. When they see the value, topping up the license is not hard, because it's just as you are paying for Zoom as you are paying for any of those licenses. Okay, our environment has been created and it is Fabric enabled. As you can see right now, it has this icon to say Fabric content. Okay, and what you can do is simple. You can start all the things. You can build paginated report. You can do all these are data analytics, related. But if I come to the reason why that is because I'm currently in Power BI experience. So if I come to show all, while still within this AI, you can see I now have data factory. If I want to ingest data, I have data science. If I want to do all these things. So for example, I'm going to click on notebook. You can click on notebook. You can experiment to start an experiment. You can do model, and I'm going to explain this concept easily. Just that my data lake is not there. So lakehouse, let me create a new lakehouse, which is where you want to store your data, and I'm going to call DSN AI. Oops, yeah, DSN AI. That's my lakehouse. Okay, no space _ AI. So I'm creating a lakehouse, which is my data lake, where I need to drop my data. Today, many of you are the data scientists, you are the one doing the work from data ingestions to building your model. So yes, same thing here, but this tool make it easier. And at the back end, you can focus, they will take care of the infrastructure. At the back end, at the front end, you can focus on delivering value. You see, mind you, we've not started building our model, right? And I'm walking you through this in just a few minutes. You will see at the end that the model itself is not much of work. You have the skill, you can do. I'm going to do a simple work, but you already have the skill. But look at how easy it is to work in an environment that deliver huge immediate value to the organization. So for a simple use case, let us ingest data, and then I'll just go ahead and start, run it through my notebook to build something. It has been successfully created. I can ingest data by using new data flow gen 2, which provide me with a UI UX that I can be clicking just without, you don't need to write code, Spark, and all those things before you can, ingest data. With this UI UX environment, they made it easier for you and I to bring in our data. Because remember, the challenge here, or the real thing, is not how long it's taking us to be writing all this code, is what value are you delivering? So if there's something that can make it easier and solve this aspect of, pain point around bringing data, ingesting data, integrating data, which is what we're going to right now. But we are not feeling any pain because it's been sassified. All you just have to do is drag and drop, draggy, clippy, droppy, And right here, I'm going to click on, depending on data that I'm ingesting, let's ingest the CSV. Mind you, it's common to do this kind of scenario. There's not so much of time for huge workshop where we could go through on-premise data. Right now, I can ingest data directly within my database stored on my system using some connectors. But let's just go through this quickly. While we're getting this data, I have uploaded this data already to my OneDrive, so I could pick it up from there or click on the second option to upload the file. So let's just click on the link. Okay, so right here, I have apps. Inside apps folder, that is where your data is being, any data you've uploaded in Fabric, that's where they are first uploaded before they are being ingested. I can see Microsoft Power Query, this is uploaded files. And right there, you can see this data. I uploaded some there yesterday. Let's just pick this train data and click on select. And then everything is fine. I'm going to click on next. What we are doing here as a data engineers are like, this is miracle, because this is what they do by writing their code by using combinations of several tools and services. They use dbt there, they use snowflakes there, they use all those things there. But remember, no reward for saying I use all these multiple services and spending this number of days, when the real issue is how close you can bring value to business. So right here, just the way you work on any environment, UI, UX, and say, this is the first top row of your data, and say, create. Yeah, and it's going to open up the Power Query view where I can edit my data. If you're a data analyst, say, I know you are happy. Oh, this is Power Query. I have used this before. This is not the only experience of ingesting data into Fabric. There are many ways. You can build a orchestration pipeline using Data Factory, which is configurable. It's more or less, it's not the draggy, clicky, and droppy like this one. But right here, you can check your data. You can do some basic transformation, ETL, extract. We are doing that now. You are transforming and you are loading to the source. In Power Query Desktop, which is the Power BI that you use, you don't do ETL completely like that, because you extract, you transform in Power Query, but your loading is loading as a Power BI service data set. It's not loading to any other sources. But right here in Fabric, you can actually load it to a lakehouse. You can see, so it has a destination where you can plug this data. So it's saying that this data is going to be loaded into lakehouse. If I want to change the settings, I can click on this gear button here and take me here and say, which lakehouse do I want to select? A different lakehouse, I can do that there. I'm going to cancel. Is there? I'm fine. Is there anything I need to remove here? Nothing. This is fine. And I can click on publish. At the point of publishing this, is going to start loading and ingesting this data into the lakehouse. Remember, this place was blank initially. And right now, there are some assets that have been created for us. You can see lakehouse. This is DSN AI, the lakehouse we created. That lakehouse automatically creates a SQL endpoint. What that means is, remember, it's a lakehouse, data lake, where I can just drop any data, structured or unstructured, but it has created a SQL endpoint on top of your data that you can now use SQL to start interacting, connect to it in Visual Studio Code, yes. Connect to it in Microsoft SQL Server, yes. Connect to it in Azure Data to any interface or workbench you can write your SQL and connect with data base service. This guy can now connect now. So automatically making that data valuable, even for analytics and insights. It creates a data set for visualization. All this Power BI guy automatically on top of that data lake, which is the lakehouse. And it also creates staging services so that the entire orchestration in the next phase, in case you are you want to do some transformation at staging layer before you now load to the final lakehouse. That is exactly how engineers run and make everything end to end. That is end to end, because it is continuous integration, continuous development. The DevOps operations is now into data activities. We've not gotten into the model deployment. So this is the data flow that we just created. It has loaded now, and I can go to my lakehouse, which is where I ingested the data by just clicking on DSN AI. This is lakehouse, right? This is where we stop then, and this is from here I click on new data flow that time. Right there you see the train data we created is here. I can click on it and I will see the data. This is not all. Trust me. You are a data scientist, but this experience is easy for you to go through. You are an AI person, but you cannot do all these things in class to you in the air. You need the data. You need those things. And this is the process to get this data ready. You agree with me that you're a bit empowered now? Okay. And again, because this lakehouse, at the top right here, you can see another experience that says SQL endpoint. So when I switch here, it's going to switch to SQL environment, and I can start writing SQL query. That is amazing. Few other things that I've not told you about is Copilot. Copilot is coming to Fabric, so that everything you do while you are building your machine learning model, you can engage directly with ChatGPT-like capabilities. Say, what's the algorithm to do this? It will tell you all the codes you need to do your work, because it is not about how rigorous you went through, what rigor you went through, rather. It is about value. So this new AI, they are there to make human more productive, to make things that are harder before easier, to make things that are almost impossible before now harder, but possible. So you can imagine that level of productivity and innovation organization can attain. Okay, right there you can see this is the data. I can start writing query, new SQL query, right on top of this data in the lakehouse. And I can over on the data itself and say, new SQL query, select top 10. You're going to select top 10. This is it. You can do any interaction with your data. As a matter of fact, if you have multiple tables, you can do the modeling. So for a data scientist here, you don't need to do the heavy modeling on Power BI desktop. You do your modeling here, you create your new measure, you do everything, and it's running on a cloud infrastructure. So it's not using your compute device to do those models. This is truly game-changing. To many big tech organizations that are already on Fabric, they say this is miracle. But I tell them this is not miracle, this is Microsoft Fabric. So it's a valuable skill, and understanding, matching your skill today as a data scientist plus what is right here in Microsoft Fabric, the platform, makes you more powerful, make you more relevant, make you a solution provider, make you that person who can truly solve business problem and not just boosting my skill. I can train a model that's 98% accurate. That is nothing, without all this knowledge that I've shared with you, complementing what you can do today. Okay, now all that being said, let's just quickly go and build a model, train an algorithm and build a model. Because of time, I have a notebook that I've already raised there. As a matter of fact, you can go back to your lakehouse and start discard changes and then start building your notebook here. You can open existing notebook, or you need Jupyter notebook. And right there, start writing your code, your query, your everything there. But to ease this, I'm just going to navigate to this tab where I have some of this data already ingested into lakehouse that I call DS demo. And then you agree with me, analytics is a continuum. You do this descriptive, we are just checking what has happened, why it happened. I'm not going to lecture you there. You do the predictive, where you're actually understanding and making forecasts, and then prescriptive is there. But data scientists, AI guys, they're actually within the predictive and prescriptive end, where you just want to build to understand what will happen next and might be able to recommend what to do, either to avoid it or make it come to pass. Okay, so I hope you're enjoying this. If you're enjoying this, I want us to continue.
Can you hear
Okay?
me? Please, you have
Yeah, I
10
can
minutes.
hear you. Yeah, I'm aware of the time. I can see that. That's why I'm just going to run through this. And the next 10 minutes, actually, we're going to be done as well. So we can take one or two questions, and yeah, I'll share the assignment. Thanks for the reminder. So, guys, if you're enjoying this and you want us to continue in that 10 minutes, or we should just give up now because of time, please drop an emoji if you want us to continue. If you don't drop emoji, it means you want me to stop. But I want to see that fire. I want to see that you enjoy this. I want to see that you understand, what we're sharing together today. Okay, awesome. I see those emojis rolling in. Amazing. So I'm going to share this notebook, so I will not take my time to start breaking this down. It's the same data science model that you've been building, but the process is the same. You want to define the problem you want to solve. You want to get your data, but this environment has made it easier for us because the data is right there. And you want to prepare the data so that it's ready for training the algorithm, and doing your parameter tuning. And of course, you want to generate predictions, which you can then apply on all the incoming new set of data or the data that you actually train in case you are making future predictions. So for example, the use case here is how to predict churn. There are a lot of data out there. I just picked this one and let's go through it together. I'm using the churn, as you can see right here in my notebook. This is Spark. Spark is powered by Apache. So at the back end, that's the compute engine that is running. So it's actually parallel processing. So it means it has infrastructure at the back end that automatically, when you run a job, it can spread the job across those machines so that they can do it faster. And this thing that is happening is not being done it's not using my computer engine, it's using the computer engine in the cloud. So it's massive and it's a lot. So I'm just going to run this. And you are wondering, how do I come about this? It's easy. I can just click on my data and drag and drop and put it here. Pim. By dragging and dropping, clicky, remember, clicky, draggy, pointy, all those things. You're just point, click, drag, and it's there. It's just, this is what I want. So by drag and drop, it's writing those packs for you, making it easier. I'm just going to run this and let's go through this together one by one. So right here, I am writing Spark SQL, to select everything from my data set and then move it inside a variable called df. But the data in that variable is still in Spark format. Remember, it's Spark SQL. So it's not our common data frame that we know. You see, it started the compute engine in 8 seconds. In reality, you want to embark on data science projects, you need to go and set up the infrastructure. And it's not, you can't do that in 8 seconds. But right now, it has set it up for us in 8 seconds, everything there to run this project. And it's a Spark job, really successful. You can see it spread those work across 3 machines. And it did all of them in two of them in less than 1 milliseconds, and one in just 1 second. Spread the rows, spread it across them, and they've done the work. So today is not Spark lecture, but we've loaded our data. And the next thing is to import the timing, because we want to run an experiment using machine learning flow so that I can keep track of the time it started, the time it stopped, and all those things. So I'm going to also play this so you see that. And what is being done here is just preparing and setting that environment. If that experiment does not exist, it's going to create a new one. But if it's an already existing experiment, just going to retrieve it. And what we are doing here, we are now writing our Python. I'm now converting that DF to a data frame, pandas data frame. So when I click and execute this now, that data has now been converted in panda data frame, and we can easily, the regular data frame you interact with, this is the records, this is the data, everything is here for you now, and you can keep on doing all the things you want to do with it. I don't need the second one. I have like just 4 or 5 minutes to run through this. And yeah, what I'm doing here, for example, you can now start doing everything, all that thing. Now you see this environment is familiar. Now you can start train and split, do your exploratory data analysis, and do all those things. But this to show you how your work now comes in the context of workplace infrastructure and not just your laptop and the anaconda you have installed on the laptop. And then right there you can see. So it's splitting my data and of course my test data, train data, all those things. I can run all of them and keep talking through them, but it's done. It's done in seconds. And right there, I'm importing logistic regression from sklearn. Want to do that, I also want to use another algorithm called decision tree classifier, just to use two algorithms and see how they are. The first one is still running, that's why the other is queuing. Once this is done, it's done. The other one is also running. It's done training. We are not doing so much of hyperparameter tuning. You can see the parameter here is very few, just one or two, and we're done. And it's done. So now in my flow, ML flow is machine learning flow. It's an open source library that sort of make your project into an experiment. So it's easy to track. It's easy to see the flow. It's easy to get all the information you need to decide, oh, is this model that I'm going to pick? Is this other one? Because in reality, there's nothing that guarantees the project you've done is the best one. So you run experiments, you use some different data sets and train different algorithms and then check all the values at the end, because that is an experiment. Okay. And right here, checking my experiment name now because it's done and just telling him, oh, this is the name, this is the environment, and these are details of the experiment. But okay, search for those experiments that match up with this fabric churn, and it's released these guys here. Oh, these are the experiments. Because I've run some experiments in the past, so I'm running it again, and it's adding them up to that experiment list, and you create version for them. I can see the performance of the model and different algorithm that was used, sklearn, repeated thing. They are duplicated because it's the same algorithm ran twice like that. So that's why they look like this. And the next is, remember, that's why we were doing those time and the end result. So this also tells us the time. Training record score, this guy is saying 100%. Of course, you can see some overfitting here for which of the algorithm now. That is decision tree classifier, but logistic regression is because this parameter are distributed in a way that you can still get value and still have some penalty there too. Okay. If I also want to visualize, but after we've done this, it's just showing me, oh, decision tree classifier is 100% accurate. Of course, we know you have to go back again and retrain so that you could fine tune the upper parameter. And here is 79% because we're using accuracy here. Okay, you can continue on and on. But right here, we have done something. We have created an experiment and we have created a model. So let me go to this environment. The lakehouse I'm using is DS demo. So if I come back here and go to DS demo is going to be in a different workspace. I think it's on Fabric Saturday. I guess so. And let me look out for. Yeah, this is Fabric Churn. That is it here. This is the experiment we have created called Fabric Churn. So within that's it. We have done and within. So in case all we've been doing in the past has been to build your model and you stop there, it's not done. And you can see right there, these are all the different model we have built. They are experiments, and you can then compare them. All the results are here. All of them. You can see all the run-up parameters, schema, those things that will help you, metrics that were used, training loss, you have them for all this. If you click on this guy, you can see all the Pico file. You can know what this means now. Your Conda Yama file, for model deployment. They're already right here. And in case I have one of the model that I would like to select, because I have quite a lot here, you can see I can save as the model, I can download the raw files, I can view my own list and do all this visualization and select the parameter that I need right here. But let's just go ahead and turn this to a model. The recent one here is this. I can just use this guy. When I select this guy, it shows me the details about it and where it's coming from. And it says, oh, this guy is completed the model version because it's not yet, and I can see everything here. The next option here is to turn this guy to model. Because right now, okay, you can see more details about it. I need to go to my model because the model has been created. This is the model folder for us. This is the training confusion matrix. It's already there. Okay, this is not the guy we are using. This is the guy. So this is the training confusion matrix. Is here, automatically done for you. Precision score, all those things you need to interpret your model is right here. And the model itself is here. In case you want to work with this MFlow, the version, you can see. It also has an estimator, which this file is not supported for V. But let's go back here where I can view my model. Coming back to my workspace Fabric Saturday. What we had was an experiment. And if I move into, this is model Fabric Churn. That is the model. And it's the same experiment because after an experiment, you select the model you want, which is what we have. We have version 1. That's the logistic regression model that we're using. And you can then apply the model. You can apply this in Model Wizard or even copy code to apply. If you want to run your code and use it in a solution, in an app you are building, in all those things, this is the code snippet you can use to pass all these parameters to it, and it automatically just apply, the model on top of the data that is being introduced and give the output. That's really amazing. Still a lot to learn, but I would like to stop here to take 1 or 2 questions. And then I have an assignment, like I mentioned, while I'm handing this over quickly. I have an assignment, and the assignment is this. Go to aka.ms/learn MS Fabric. There's an assignment for you. You see the learn modules to learn more about Microsoft Fabric. This thing I've done for you is on the correct standard masterclass foundational class. Yes. So once you go back to this assignment, you will have a better understanding of this. You'll be able to also go through many other use cases. What I've done is not part of what was done, but you'll be able to see 2 or 3 more data science use cases within Fabric that can also build your model and do all this. I can take questions now, and also thank you all for listening and the support. I really appreciate this. Apologies because of time, but yes, it's a good way to start. Thank you, too. Take a little time. Hello.
Thank you very much, Olanrewaju, for that very interesting session. Our participants on this call, I believe we've all heard, but I believe we've all seen this, we've all participated in this lecture, and you'd agree with me that that was a very insightful section that was passionately. I'd like us to show appreciation to Olanrewaju with the fire emojis, the clapping emojis. Let's see them rolling. And in the process of that, if you have any questions, please drop them in the session as we pick them up one after the other. Yeah, I can see the emojis rolling in. Excellent. Thank you very much once again. So there's a question from one of the participants right now. So I'll read it out to you for your response. So the question says, as a data scientist, can one use Microsoft Fabric and all other tools that go well with SQL and Excel and Python in place of Microsoft Power BI? Did you get that?
As a data scientist, right?
Yeah, for the question. As a data scientist, can one use Microsoft Fabric, all other tools that go well with SQL and Excel and Python in place of Microsoft Power BI?
Okay, to be honest, I'm a bit confused with that question, but let me try to interpret and also provide some answers. First, as a data scientist, you build models. Yes. So Microsoft Fabric is that platform that has those experiences. So as a data scientist, yes, right there, you can use your Python like we're doing now. You can even write in R flavor. It doesn't mean it has to be Python. If you know how to use R, you can do that there. Yes, as a data scientist, you can use that Microsoft Fabric to do your data science work by writing your Python script. Good. Another thing there is SQL. Yes, it has that end-to-end integration with SQL and can be integrated to Adjust SQL Data Studio, SQL Server Management Studio, and work with your data lake directly from there. Power BI, yes, there are some use cases in data science project that you can automatically, after you are done, make your prediction. For example, customer churn, I just want to do it quarterly. Some organizations do this in quarterly. Now, oh, for the next quarter, which of these customers are likely to leave us? And so you make that predictions and the result is already available. Then you go into because when it's available, it's appended as a new column to a table in your lakehouse. Then you can visualize that table in Power BI and now dissect it and then start looking at a list of customers that are likely to leave. You can do a lot of analysis about those customers to understand them, and many other things like that. So it's connected. Yes, you can use Power BI in Fabric. Power BI is part of the experience. But you can I just hope that explains it. You use Power BI for that kind of purpose, but you cannot use Power BI to build data science model. It's Fabric you are using. And within Fabric, we have the data science experience right there. I hope this sort of answer that question.
Thank you very much, Olanrewaju. So 2 questions just rolled in. Let me read the first one. My fear of using automated or low-code platform is the fact that the fundamentals might not be known in the process, unlike scenarios when one has to explicitly write the code. What can you say about that?
You have a good point, but let's look at it this way. About learning today, what you've learned today has not taken anything away from you, but has added to your knowledge. In the past, you learn in the context of unreal environment. When you are building model, you are doing that. You don't know what exists in the organization. You don't have a data source to connect to. You import your Excel file, PD, pandas, import pandas as PD. Then you do your PD, the CSV, all those things. You import, you read your CSV, you read your Excel file. This doesn't stop you from learning the fundamentals. But you don't know how to set up the infrastructure. Do you have the Azure credit? Do you have all those cloud technology? No. So Fabric simplified that pain point in the business that you are not even familiar with today. But in what I've done today, I've not done anything to take out what you will do. You can continue to write all your Python no matter how deep they are. It's just the infrastructure running it is now on Azure. This is powered by Microsoft. So instead of your system are limited. As far as you have, internet, that infrastructure that should make those things work and do all the things you need is right there. So this is not a replacement for you learning code and learning the fundamentals. Can't take that away from you. But the another advantage of having some low-code solutions part of it is because, yes, today we have shortage of skill. Those skilled to do those things, they actually, they're not so common. But this make it easier for us. For those who have interest, who have been doing visualization before, all of a sudden want to do some things around data science, you are able to also do that and skill up. And later you can learn the fundamentals. So this is not literally saying no need to write your code. Now start using low code. No, it's saying that if you know how to write all your code, keep writing it. Today, keep writing it. But if you don't know how to do it and you want to be fast with it, you can still use the low code element. Everything is accommodated. And meaning this is now more inclusive, and that's the word we need, where we can give other people opportunity to also transition easily into new roles, into new functions, and achieve more possibilities in their career. So this is a big win and not even a limitation at all, because it doesn't stop you from doing your core programming all across those platforms. There are core experiences there, writing all your code if you are good with it. But if you are not good, you can use the combination of all those low code as well as your code to still get your work done.
Thank you, Olanrewaju. Very beautiful response. So this is the last question we'll be taking. Can MS Fabric be used for NLP tasks?
Yes. Very, very well. So take, for example, NLP is natural language processing. And within it, there are a lot of things. Could be knowledge graph, could be narrative analysis, could be any of those things. But what we just mentioned now is not really about a platform, it's about the skill. So take, for example, you have the knowledge to build those things, and within Fabric, you have your data. You have unstructured data coming from Telegram, coming from the web, BizScript, from blogging site, or even customer review on your site, and many things like that. They are all, qualitative analysis. And you have your code, and you have your skill. All you have to do is right there, plug in within your notebook or any other experiences. Take, for example, within that notebook, you can open your data in Visual Studio Code and continue to write your data. There wasn't that time, and to demonstrate that. And again, someone who is learning it for the first time is wondering, oh, they are training to code. This thing is hard. It's not hard. That's why I said, if you know how to do it, you can do it. You can open everything, Visual Studio Code, and continue to write your natural code, and it's still connected to that same data source that is there, still connected to that same thing that is there as an experience. So yes, and you even have the infrastructure. Deep, heavy infrastructure on Azure is one running what you are doing. It's really not your local machine or one weak infrastructure somewhere. It's trusted Microsoft, large scale infrastructure. For example, ChatGPT, the entire infrastructure is on Azure. So if you could power the training of GPT-3, GPT-4, and not on Azure, you should be confident that yes, it needs to power everything you do. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Olanrewaju, for that beautiful section. We have a couple of questions here that we'll be sending over to you for responses. So participants on the call, don't be worried. We'll send the questions to him. We'll give his responses and we'll forward them down to you. Thank you very much once again, Olanrewaju. So at this point,